Welcome to Health Done Right. I'm Dr. Becky, the creator of the Science-Based Plan for Wellness. Each week, I'll be discussing how to have a healthy life through healthy eating, physical activity, and behavioral changes. How can something so simple and fundamental to human existence be so darn complicated? Each week, I will be chewing up, spitting out, and dissecting the answers to this question. There's a lot of misinformation about wellness, and Americans don't know who to believe. Over the next half hour, you'll be learning bona fide scientific information to change your health. First, a little bit about myself. I'm a board-certified obesity medicine specialist, and that is the background for which I developed this program. My background is unique, therefore so is my approach, for it will be from a scientific, behavioral, and medical perspective. Instead of in 1978, I entered the medical profession as a nurse. Since then, I became board certified in obesity medicine and OBGYN. Along the way, I've earned a bachelor's degree in biology, a master's degree in psychology, and an MD. Many years ago, I realized that my patients were struggling with their weight, and I didn't know how to help them. I had the same issues. So I started taking the complex classes to learn about obesity. Along the way, I learned how to control my own addiction to sugar, to lose the appropriate amount of weight, and to maintain a normal BMI. This is not an infomercial. There are no crazy gimmicks, rapid weight loss tricks, magical supplements, just the resources and the commitment to helping you change your life forever. You will learn scientifically proven ways to improve your health and the quality of your life. I will stick with the evidence, detangling the food industry's marketing ploys that can affect anyone trying to eat for optimal health. Although comprehensively designed, the plan is very simple. Each week I'll present 2 of the 4 types of meals from the healthy eating plan. Today I'll be presenting a gourmet meal and a healthy dining out option. Don't miss the fact section. This week we'll be looking at whether exercise or dietary changes are most important for weight loss. Then there'll be a science section and story time. Each week I'll share those with you for your journey for health. Fact or fact? Exercise is more important for losing weight than decreasing calories. American culture has long nurtured the idea that extreme exercise is necessary for weight loss. This simply isn't true. For most people, the lion's share of weight loss comes from dietary changes and not exercise. Usually you'll lose maybe 3 to 4%, which is 3 to 5 pounds with exercise alone. Most of your weight loss is going to come from dietary changes. The Biggest Loser study showed that the individuals lost most of their weight or more of their weight from the dietary changes and not from the exercise component. So does most weight loss come primarily from exercise? Don't you believe it? Recipe for health number 3. For those of you with time and energy on your hands and you like to work with some delectable taste combinations, Gourmet Prepare at Home offers robust recipes to create when time allows. So today we're going to have a zingy braised chicken with 3 sides. So this is a very simple recipe. The reason why it ended up being on the gourmet section is because of the time that it takes to bake it. I did go ahead and cook the chicken last night. So you start out with olive oil, and as you are all aware, olive oil is on the Mediterranean diet. It has a low amount of saturated fat, and it's very high in the monounsaturated and the polyunsaturated fats. So we're going to grill that up. Okay, so now we have the grilled chicken. This package that I bought from Giant was actually a 2-pound package, but you can buy a 1-pound package, and then just count out the amount of tenderloin, and then make the calculation. There were 6 pieces of tenderloin for 1 pound, so for 4 servings, that means everybody gets a half of a piece, or 3 halves of a piece. So when you do your calculations, try to have a pretty good idea of how much you're going to be getting to eat, so that you get the proper amount of nutrients. So you grill that up, you add a little bit of salt or salt substitute. I wanted to try to keep this plan or this menu on the DASH diet, so it's preferable to use some salt substitute. You're going to see that I used a salt substitute. I used a no sodium added tomatoes, and a low sodium or reduced sodium olives, so that I could keep the sodium amount down to meet the criteria for the DASH diet. So once you grill that up, you take it out, and then you put in the garlic. And garlic and onions are both prebiotics, so they help the gut microbes. Then you put in the black olives. Black olives are 100% monounsaturated fat, so a very healthy fat. And then you can either chop up these tomatoes yourself. I happen to be a big fan of the fire roasted tomatoes. I could not find the fire roasted and the low sodium, but if you use the low sodium version to keep your salt intake down, that would be preferable. And then the last thing that gets added are the pepperoncini, and these are very healthy also. A lot of Italians use this to cook with. So just put these all together. The recipe is up on the screen. You're going to cook those down a little bit, and this is what it's going to look like. When you're done. So actually I took a serving of this out last night. So this is actually 3 servings. It was very delicious, I must say. So this is actually 3 servings. So what I'm going to do is just divide these up appropriately, because I'm going to show them to you on a plate here in a second. So you can see that there's ample amount of food, because it's very important that you get the right amount of nutrients, but you also need to be able to see that you're getting, your mind's eye has to see that you're getting enough food. So that we're going to do in a second. Now the next part of this recipe or this menu is a zucchini. Now zucchini is one of those foods that is very low in calories and very low in carbohydrates. So it's important to get the bulk of your food from your healthy vegetables. So what you're going to do is you're going to put in 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Now I know it's not a lot, but in order to keep the fat content down for both of these recipes together, I had to keep the oil down low. So you're going to grill that up. This is about 3 cups of fresh cut zucchini, and then actually the Parmesan cheese goes on last, and then about a cup of the onions. After this is all grilled up, you sprinkle the Parmesan cheese on top, and grill that up. and that's what that looks like. So then, just so you have an idea of what you'll be getting, you're going to have 3 pieces of this chicken. I forgot to add in the capers to the meal I cooked up for you, but capers give it a lot of flavor. I will tell you, this was so tasty. If someone else would have prepared it for me, I would have felt like a queen. Ruh-roh. So you get about a cup of the zucchini, which that's about a cup. And then, as you can see, with the 1 cup of pineapple, you get 7 walnuts with this. And the walnuts, of course, are very high in the omega-3 fatty acids, and we talked last week about that. And that adds fiber along with the pineapple, which is a very healthy fruit. The carbohydrates in this are the type that are slow to be digested. So this is going to help you have a nice stable blood sugar from one meal to the next. So again, your mind's eye sees a nice delicious meal. This looks good, it looks like it's an ample amount, and it tastes good. So is it part of the Diabetic Diet Association diet? Check. Part of the American Heart Association diet? Check. DASH diet? Check. Mediterranean diet? Check. Health done right? You better believe it. So this is what you could fix for one evening. One of the things I also liked about this menu was that you could make the whole meal for 4 people in around $7 to $8. So that's a very reasonable amount of money for a full meal for a family of 4. Okay, so next we're going to talk about physical activity. When just starting out, the best exercise is the exercise that you can commit to, that you can incorporate into your daily life. Baby steps will have some health benefits, literally. Doing mild activities throughout the day, taking steps instead of the elevator, walking throughout the parking lot, all of those things will increase your calorie burn. Small changes can add up over time and improve your overall health. Once you get a regimen in place, then you can start mixing in some variety with more intensity and a regularity to it so that you stay committed and you can do this for a lifetime. The intensity does matter, especially when you're looking at the heart, because the heart is a muscle, and so it needs to be worked out just like the rest of your muscles. When I mow my own grass, I turn it into an exercise regimen. I start in the backyard with my shenanigans because I'm running as fast as I can to get my heart rate up, and then I pull around to the front of the yard, slow down, catch my breath a little bit, and then loop that around. So after 30 minutes, I've gotten my cardiovascular workout for the day. I do slow down and walk in the front so I don't look too much like a freak, but it does give me a good workout, and sometimes that's all you have time for is some kind of chore that's time consuming and you need to get your heart rate up with it. So don't panic if you just hate the idea of going to the gym. Exercise alone without lowering your calories or without changing your food intake may cause weight gain. Say what? Sometimes after you start an exercise regimen, you will stimulate your appetite. So what we found is that individuals will frequently calculate, oh, I worked out and I burned about 300 calories, when in reality they only burned about 200 calories, and then they go and treat themselves with a snack that has 300 or 400, maybe even 500 calories. So they're actually consuming more calories than what they burned off. And then we know that people who start a moderate intensity exercise plan will sometimes get a stimulation in their appetite. So they actually feel hungrier because they are working out. Now, we took a group of obese people and started them on an exercise regimen, and they experienced two different effects on their appetite. One, they had more appetite, and two, they had a decrease in their ability to feel full, or their satiety, once they started eating. So the brain and the body will play tricks on you to try to get you to preserve your muscle mass, I mean your body's weight. On top of that, after losing 10% or more of your weight, then your muscles start to use genes that are a little more efficient, and you burn 20 to 30% fewer calories with the same exercise program. The jury is still out whether the exercise will stimulate or suppress your appetite. So lacing up those Nikes might curb your snack attacks, or it may cause one. But don't fret, because we do have ways of taming your inner tiger. Change your habit, change your life. Behavioral change recommendation number 2. Cut out sugary beverages. This includes sweet teas, sodas, frappuccinos, ices, any fruit juice, any liquids that have sugar in it. This is critical to keeping the calorie level down to a reasonable amount. When your brain tries to stimulate you to eat, it does not take in consideration the calories that you use or that you consume in the form of liquids. Plus, sugary beverages are absorbed from the stomach. So if we have a diabetic whose blood sugar drops and we want them to raise their blood sugar very quickly, we give them orange juice so we can shoot up their blood sugar. That's because the sugar from the orange juice is absorbed in the stomach, gets converted to glucose, and then is readily available for the body's use. So unless you intentionally want to shoot up your blood sugar, which most of us don't need to do that, you don't want to shoot your blood sugar up, because if you shoot your blood sugar up when you don't need glucose, it's going to get stored as fat, and that's something that we're trying to avoid, because fat cells are inflammatory and they contribute to your risk for diabetes and heart disease. So no sugary beverages, none, nada, zilch. Okay, so science time. Today's study comes from our neighbors at Hershey Medical Center. The researchers were trying to prove something that we all knew was probably true. And they looked at a group of women who had polycystic ovarian syndrome and were obese and wanted to have a baby. And they put these individuals on a diet. Now, you may be saying, I don't have any of that, and I don't want any of that. But this study has more to do about what is necessary to bring down your weight. And polycystic ovarian syndrome is a condition of high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high sugars, prediabetes, diabetes, inflammation. So when you look at the study, a lot of the parts of the polycystic ovarian syndrome that they were treating would also treat somebody who doesn't have this condition. Now, what I really liked about their study was that they used basically my Healthy to Go combo package. They used Healthy Choice, Lean Cuisine, and Smart Ones. They did add in some fruit and some low-fat dairy products. In the study, the women lost weight and they were able to have a baby. So when you look at the perfect ratio of protein, carbohydrates, and fats for weight loss, you're looking at 30% protein, 45% carbohydrates, and 25% fats. This is exactly the number that this research project utilized, and it's actually the exact same number of the combo or the combination of ingredients or nutrients that I use in my plan. So I liked it because women could have a baby without all the extra drugs and expense, but I also liked it because it is another bit of proof on why Health Done Right is such an excellent program. So if you want to have a baby and you have this condition, start Health Done Right stat. Likewise, in this particular study, they looked at the women for 12 weeks, and anyone can stay on a certain plan for 12 weeks, but very few people can eat those types of foods for a lifetime. And when you look at weight loss and health maintenance, you're looking for lifetime solutions. So when you use Health Done Right, you'll have 3 other ways of eating besides just the grocery to go combo. So this is something, again, that you can use for life. It's story time. Allie's roller coaster ride. Last week, I told you about Allie Vincent, the first female to win the nationally televised Biggest Loser contest when she lost 112 pounds. And I also told you about her subsequent regain and the plummeting of her metabolism and that her ego was shattered. The reason why we're talking about this again this week is because most people don't really understand how that can happen. Well, protection of weight is something that our bodies are programmed to do genetically. So over the course of evolution, our brains have been wired to prefer and crave sweets and fatty foods. So when there was a scarcity of food, you would have the extra storage to hold you over until the next big hunt. The problem with that is that we have refrigerators and there's a 7-Eleven around the corner, and we don't live in a cave. So we don't need to be storing any extra food. So when we start to cut our calories down, our body still is trying to put that weight back on or add those fat cells back, enlarge those fat cells again. So they'll start to send out a signal to your brain that you're in trouble, and it'll start to stimulate your appetite, slow your metabolism down, and make you use energy a little less efficiently. So when in the Biggest Loser contest, they broke into the dining hall in the middle of the night, it's probably because they were getting that Mayday signal saying, help, help, I'm melting. So protection of weight or slowing down of the metabolism is something that's known, we're fully aware of. But in the Biggest Loser study, they showed that metabolism slowed down for 6 years after the contest. And for a person who has gastric bypass surgery, usually they only have a decrease in metabolism for 1 year. So when you look at trying to lose weight, you want to do it so that it comes off at a rate that your metabolism doesn't slow down so much that it's impossible to maintain that weight. The American Obesity Society recommends that you use 10% as your initial goal for weight loss. The biggest losers are Americans who've been sold a pint of blubber about weight loss and weight loss products. Every year we spend $60 billion in weight loss products, gym memberships, supplements. Only about 20% of dieters keep their weight off, and usually these are individuals who've lost that 10%. The National Weight Control Registry, yes, we do have one, reports that only 20% of dieters are successful at losing and maintaining a 10% weight loss. The more weight you lose, the less likely you are at keeping it off. Fortunately, statistical data from that same registry tells us what works and what else doesn't work. So I took all of that information and incorporated that into Health Done Right so that you wouldn't be wasting your time with products that have not been shown to be beneficial. In many ways, Allie Vincent's story is the American story. In future episodes, I will be telling you more about Allie and her plight. Recipe for Health number 4. This is from Snap. Okay, so medicine's premier reporter of evidence-based and peer-reviewed literature, Up to Date, reported in April of 2016 that, quote, fast foods are a way of life for many American families, and eliminating fast foods may not be realistic, unquote. Who of us hasn't pulled a Yui into a fast food joint after a lacrosse practice to pick up dinner? One of my friends recently referred to her van as the dining room. Today's meal is from Chipotle, a Mexican restaurant. The reason why I chose fast food or other healthy dining out options is because Americans are very busy, and we need to have some way of continuing to maintain our health in spite of our paced society. So on the healthy dining out options, you just click on the restaurant of choosing, you pull up to the billboard, you don't look at any of the unwholesome traps, you just shout out with confidence your well-balanced meal. Today's recipe is from, or meal is from Chipotle. It's a 500-calorie meal. You could take your boss out and impress them with your choice. It is a chicken salad. It includes the chicken salad bowl, romaine lettuce, and often I'll say, can I have a little more of that? Because you can have as much romaine lettuce as you want. Black beans, a double serving of fajitas, and cover it with fresh tomato salsa. Actually, you get to choose 2 salsas. And then you enjoy this with grapes or oranges. And this is a perfect meal. The black beans are what we call resistant starches, so they're slow to break down in the gut, so they keep your blood sugar stable from one meal to the next. The oil in this meal is a rice bran oil, so it won't meet the criteria for the Mediterranean diet. Now, if you may have noticed, I didn't ask for the salad dressing because that had 210 calories and it would take about 30 minutes to burn that off, and it takes 1 second to say no to the salad dressing. So say no to the salad dressing. Cheers to your health beverage. Sometimes the perfect ending to a long, full week is chilling out with friends at your preferred spot for drinks. Maybe you've got a favorite wine bar or a regular seat at Fun Guys, the local brewery. Many Americans drink alcohol on special occasions, like a night out on the town. There are many known health benefits of moderate alcohol intake, with reduced heart attack and stroke being 2 of the benefits. 1 glass of wine cuts the risk of liver disease in half. A very gentle use of alcohol can be very healthy for your body. For these benefits, ladies, you should only have 1 drink a day, and gentlemen, you can have 2. So this is the Heart Healthy Mojito Cuban Mojito. It does have some rum in it. Has some nice healthy watermelon, and you can drink this and feel healthy. We've come to the end of today's show. This is Dr. Becky's Health Done Right. Hopefully you've learned something to take on your journey through life. If you're interested in trying out the entire plan. Yeah, you didn't give me any notices.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. That's all right. Don't worry. You know what?